Come join Libby, Molly, and Tiffany, the ladies of Consignment Chats, where we talk about all things consignment.
Welcome to episode 2 of Consignment Chats, where we're going to discuss our main topic as top 5 pros of consignment. So we're going to start off talking about our week. We all, as you know, work at different places and doing kind of the same, but some slightly different things. So let's start off, ladies, by talking about how your week went.
Personally, it was a lot of prepping for Christmas and holidays, and my sales just kind of, really slowed down over the week. It was pretty good the weekend before, but kind of slowed down. But I thought it was good. I mean, appreciated having a little bit of a break from the sales so I could do personal stuff. So it was just very, busy prepping.
Good. Yeah. My week was, very busy, personal wise and sales wise. It was crazy. I don't think people ever stop shopping. So there was a lot of shipping. There was more wrapping other people's shipments than there was gifts for my own family, for sure. So that was kind of interesting.
I was going to say that's a good thing, but good and bad, right?
It's a good thing. At this point, this many years in, my family knows this is the busy time for us. It's when we make the majority of our income. So everybody just kind of deals with it and pitches in a little bit. So it's good.
Good.
What I thought was really weird was I sold 5 Halloween items the week of Christmas.
Really?
I did.
So many
That's
Halloween
interesting.
I know. I had a bunch of Halloween. It was just weird. I don't even know. It's like one thing could sort of pass as just maybe if you're just a goth person or something. I don't know. You want to have it out all year long, but the other things were strictly Halloween, and I just don't understand. But whatever. That's always been my philosophy that anything sells anytime of the year. So I just keep listing no matter what season it is or what it is. I list sweaters in the summer. I don't care. Everything sells whenever.
That is correct. And you have to get used to that. I always worry about, do I list these shorts in the, middle of the winter, but, not everybody lives up north, or people live in Florida, and people live, all around the world where you don't get.
Or they're going on a vacation where they need something on a season. And
Yeah.
you can't walk in a brick and mortar store and get something out of season. So that's why it draws them to it. That's a benefit of online.
Absolutely. Because when I had the store, it was, we were very strict about seasonal items. Like we only took what's in season. So being online, definitely, we take all seasons, all holidays, all the time. It's very freeing. It's very cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my week was a good week too. I had a lot of good sales, and which is great to see that picking up since I've really been getting back into the business full force. So that was has been nice getting myself back into getting many sales in a day. So good stuff. What about during all the positive throughout all of this, any struggles that we had, any challenges that went on this week that our listeners might benefit from hearing about?
I think everybody's probably dealing with the same thing, whether you're a buyer or a seller. It's shipping. It's the problems with the USPS and how backed up they are. I spent many, many hours this week tracking packages and getting back to customers, opening cases and search requests. So that's definitely been, a time drain, and it's frustrating for the customers. A lot of people ordered stuff early for Christmas, and they still haven't received it. So,
yeah.
Nothing that I ordered for my son came at all.
Nothing.
And it was just really, really upsetting as a buyer. And then as a seller, I feel really bad for the customers that are, contacting me. It's just terrible. It's a struggle for everyone. And some people, that don't buy a lot online aren't getting it. They didn't really get it. Not everyone's aware of the problem.
Right.
Oh, it's hard.
That does make it difficult, for sure, for sure. I have some things I'm still waiting to receive. And as our listeners can tell, this episode comes off of holiday season. But I'm still waiting too. And I just hope that, people are patient. And like you say, Tiffany, not everybody understands because haven't been big online shoppers, but times right now drive to more online shopping. So maybe they're not as patient through all of this. But.
Yeah, and I'm finding like a lot of my customers, when I, explain and I send them the, updated tracking and tell them they can get text updates, are very understanding and very patient about it. I think I had one customer that was, in my eyes, unreasonable. But mostly everybody has been totally understanding. It's just setting those expectations and kind of explaining that, hey, we're all in this together.
Right.
I didn't get some of my stuff as well as a buyer, and I'm doing my best as a seller. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting for one of my eBay purchase presents for my husband. But hey, it just extends the gift giving, maybe it'll be a New Year's gift you can look forward to. So
I was really worried about an item. I sold an advent calendar, which people, want to start using on December 1st. She bought it the day before Thanksgiving. I sold it. I sent it the day after Thanksgiving, and it was large. It was a wooden advent calendar. So it was a big box, heavy. She paid a lot for this item and a lot for shipping. She got it on December 16th. She was very upset. It was only going to the next state, to Pennsylvania. I'm in Maryland, so it was only going. I could have driven it to Pennsylvania. I would have.
Yeah.
If I would have.
Had you known, right?
And so she kept messaging me saying, well, it's useless now. Like about the 10th, she was like, well, there's no point in it now. So I really thought she was going to return it. But I kept communicating with her as much as I could because I wasn't getting a lot of information on USPS. And when she finally got it, I thought I was expecting a bad review or maybe a return request because she wouldn't need it. But she left me a glowing review and said that beautiful item and worth the wait. So,
well, that's good.
So
that's good.
I'm glad she can use it next year.
So she was clearly frustrated, but in the end, understanding that it was out of your control. So. So as I mentioned in the beginning, our main topic for this week's episode is going to be the top 5 pros of consignment. So we have a list of 5 things, and we're going to start with number 5 as freedom. Libby, what does freedom mean?
So freedom, when you are a consignment seller, you have the freedom of your time to work when you want, to accept what you want. But the other thing, you have the freedom to sell how you want. You set the terms of the contract. You have the freedom to accept, only certain things. You pretty much set your own terms. And you also have the freedom to, once you do consignment selling and you're selling online and, trying out different platforms, you also have the freedom to, let's say you want to go to an auction, like you understand the process of reselling, you can easily add other forms of reselling in there, retail arbitrage. I like to go, it's kind of our family hobby. We like to go to the auction and pick up things, and you really learn the value, and you're much better at that sort of thing. So starting with consignment is a good place to start, but you can also have the freedom to explore other options. How about you, Tiffany?
I think when I think of the freedom, I think of it's just, being your own boss, and taking off when you want to, not having to explain yourself if you don't get out of bed at 7 a.m. every morning, whatever. You can, take a sick day, take a day off, whatever you want. And I just think that kind of freedom. And, and you always have the inventory here because they brought it to you. So that's what I think.
Good. And I agree with all of those above. It's nice, with a husband who works a full-time job when when he has a banker's holiday, that, you know, I have the freedom to enjoy some of that time and not have to look, you know, to hope and beg for the day off, but other people in my company have already asked for that day off, so maybe I'm not allowed to take it off. You know, it gives me that freedom. And when my son was in high school and playing sports, the ability to get to all those games and still have a successful business and working. So that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so number 4, giving back.
This is one of my favorites because it wasn't something I realized initially. Part of consignment and dealing with consigners, you really help them through, like, let's say, you know, they're cleaning out, or maybe they have emotional attachments to something, and helping them, you know, kind of step through that. And a lot of times people are cleaning out estates and we get this stuff. And it's just that ability to kind of walk them through that and know that their items are going to somebody that really wants them when they sell. I know I did both of my grandmother's items, and it was a really nice feeling to be able to tell my family, look, you know, even though we don't, you know, have a use for all of this stuff or some of this stuff, people all around the world are getting these items and are going to use them, and they're going to people that will truly appreciate them and give them a new life. So that is really, it's really satisfying to be able to give back in that way.
Mm-hmm. Many people get attached to their items and they don't want to just give them away or drop them at Goodwill. And they want to feel like they have the emotional attachment to stuff. So they want to feel like they're giving it, you know, away better, or, you know, giving it to people that care about it. And I feel like consignment is a great add-on to the decluttering movement, the Marie Kondo, you know, cleaning out process. And I've helped a lot of people with that, taking a lot of stuff off their hands. And I've also helped people who have recently lost, you know, people, and they're cleaning out houses and things like that. So it's when you're all emotional like that, I think you feel better giving it to someone to sell, and knowing that there's going to be buyers out there that care about what they're getting, rather than just dropping it in the trash or at Goodwill or whatever.
And you don't realize, like, you don't think what an emotional support you wind up being for a family who's grieving. And when we were in the storefront, Libby and I with Conshy Consignment, we'd have that a lot, where, you know, a son or daughter would come in who just lost their last parent, and just heartbroken. And you end up being a psychologist in the midst of it all, you know, but you end up building relationships with these people during it too, that, I mean, we're still out of a storefront, friends on social media, Libby, with a lot of our customers who, you know, you become friends with, because you don't, those things are such a part of them. And so when you become involved in that, you grow a friendship and a relationship that lasts on. So,
yeah.
I want to add on that about the giving back. You know, there's other things outside of that you can do to give back in consignment. As I'm sure many of you know, eBay has a charity branch to their selling too. But we also, when we were in the storefront with Conshy Consignment, would do a Conshy Connects event where, you know, we would pick a charity event and have sales where a percentage of proceeds would benefit them. So just another aspect of the giving back and consignment, of different ways you can do. Just the basic consignment gives back and helps people, but then you can even take it a step further if you chose to do that with your business.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do a future episode on, you know, giving back and working with charities, because it is very easy to incorporate in the consignment
Absolutely.
process. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great idea.
Great thing. And they love it. You know, they really do. And it's easy, having come from a nonprofit background too, and in charge of the fundraising, looking for things like what Conshy Consignment offers to charities is an amazing thing to have, because you're always going to have to throw those big events that suck up your time and you work so hard for, but to have something like consignment where you can have your supporters drop products off and know that, you know, the sales from that are going to benefit your nonprofit is huge. So yeah, that's definitely a good episode. We need to put that.
Oh yeah, we can definitely talk a lot about that. Yeah.
Yep. So number 3, which is also near and dear to my heart, and one of the things that brought Libby and I together in the beginning of our friendship with the local elementary PTO years and years ago, is sustainability. Which one of you would like to start that talk?
More than just like sustainable shopping and things are getting recycled back into the community. Not only items, but your money when you consign is being cycled back into your community, whether it be by, you know, employees or helpers you may have, consigners. So it's really amazing that the money, it's one of the few ways that the money can really stay right where it is and, you know, help out the community. And on top of that, you're recycling items. Or upcycling. In my free time, I like to do a lot of furniture painting or refinishing or giving things a new purpose. So I enjoy that.
Repurposing is a lot of fun.
Yeah, repurposing is a lot of fun for sure. And it just feels good. Like when I shop, I prefer to buy something through a resale channel rather than buy something new. That's just important to me. So if I can help other people buy and sell that way, I can't think of anything better.
I think that's great too. And I love that you might be keeping, you know, we might be keeping stuff out of the landfill longer, giving it a second life, sometimes a third or fourth life.
Right.
And I even extend that, and I know Libby, you do some of this too, but I extend that to my boxes, my pack.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of people are really big into the free USPS boxes, but I don't use those. I mean, rarely do I use those because there are so many boxes floating around the earth already. Like I don't need to create new boxes. I don't need a brand new box for every shipment. So I reuse any box that comes into my house. I have friends and family giving me boxes all the time, and I put this little sticker on them that says repurposed for the planet.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
Not outside the box and
I love that.
It's on the bottom, but if it's non-eBay sale, I cut that part off. but I always do that. I always I have so many boxes in my shed of empty boxes.
And that goes for bubble wrap and the packing pillows and the save all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I cringe now when I see, you know, somebody pop a pillow or jump on the air bubbles to buy it. I'm like, no, I can use that.
I know. And I have everybody I know bringing me that stuff. Like sometimes I'll come home from work and there's just a pile of boxes and packing materials on my front porch because people know that I need it. So they just bring it to me.
It's great.
Wonderful. Yeah.
That is fantastic. Good stuff. Are we ready for number 2?
Yep.
We're getting up to the top, ladies. All right. Our number 2 pro of consignment is low cost. Tiffany, you want to start this one?
Sure. So that's low or no startup costs, really, because you can sell on these platforms without paying any money up front. If someone's bringing you the item, then you don't have to buy the item up front. So you just take the picture with your phone, you know, put it up, and you know, it basically doesn't cost you anything to list it. Right. And then you pay after the sale. You pay for the, you know, your item, the cost of the shipping and everything comes out of that. And if you're using a recycled box, then you know nothing costs money. You know, and buying the postage from the platform that you sold it in comes out of your sale, and then you pay the consignor after that. We can talk another time about when you pay consignors and all that stuff like that, but that's what I love. Yeah, there's no money. You don't have to spend much money at all to to start this business.
Yeah, it's amazing how, easy it would be to start. There's like you see a lot of different reselling, like people will buy inventory, they will go into private label, things like that. Consignment is really a great way to get your feet wet. You don't have to spend anything to get started. You pay when it sells. Yeah, so.
All right, that's great. All right, number one. I feel like we need a drum roll here. Hold on. Number one, top 5 pros of consignment is inventory.
No shopping. I mean, if you like shopping, you can still go shopping, like Molly. But if you don't want to go out, they bring the stuff to you and drop it at your house. Like, you don't need to go out. You never need to go thrifting, worried about, is this brand going to sell? What's going to, I mean, I know different people are different, but I personally list everything, pretty much everything that someone gives me, unless it's, trash or got holes in it, ripped or whatever. But I pretty much try to list everything, no matter whether it's a top seller or not, because I have the philosophy, like, everything sells eventually. And I don't mind storing it for a while. I don't mind the long tail items, which means it's going to take 6 months or a year to sell. I don't mind those. I know a lot of people want that quick turnaround, and you get some of those in there, but I list everything that someone gives me, pretty much.
I might be a little pickier with listing. I try to list everything, but I do not like to shop. I just never did. Funny that I would own a store, but I just don't like to shop because I like people to bring the stuff to me. I mean, how much better can it get? And then pick and choose what has resale value and what we decide to sell. So, and getting inventory is never a problem. I mean, I think that's a question people ask all the time. Like, how do you get all this inventory? Where do you get your inventory? Pretty much if you build relationships and you put yourself out there as a reseller, there are people that need this service desperately. So it's usually not a problem.
Word of mouth. Yep, it gets
Word
around.
of mouth is big, yeah. I will throw in there, I'm the shopper of the group, shopaholic, and not just for myself. I just love to shop. So when I moved away from Philadelphia area, when I worked in the store with Libby and relocated back down south, I wanted to continue working with her because I love her so much. But I wasn't into it full time, wanting to get consigners into my house at the time. We were readjusting, my son starting a new high school, all that good stuff. So I got into doing kind of the resale aspect of it and going into yard sales. And so there is that whole other aspect that you can do. If you are a shopper, you can do both. You can get some consignment, which I do. I have a couple local that will consign with me. But I do a lot of the reselling of finding those deals at the yard sales or Goodwill or thrifting or any of that kind of thing, and doing the resale aspect.
I've done some of that too. I have a friend that helps me with the store, and we've done some auctions, online auction buying and stuff like that. And we've done a couple Goodwill runs, but generally you don't need to, because we have so much here piled up to sell.
There's definitely not a need. If you want to be all consignment, it is absolutely an easy way to do without having to go out and search for inventory. I just really love the search.
I think a lot of people really do. Yeah.
Not as much during COVID. I try to find, if I'm going to do it, I find those hours where nobody else is out. But I just love the search.
I do want to say that when everything shut down in March or April or whenever it was, there were a lot of sellers complaining about how they didn't have inventory. They're running out of inventory and they couldn't go shopping for inventory. But I never had that problem. I had a ton here. I never ran out of stuff. Didn't have to worry about all the stores were closed. It was all right here.
That's fantastic.
I mean, hopefully that won't happen again, but if it does, it's a backup.
Right. And that's typical, I think, with consignment. Once you're really out there, Libby, do you ever like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of stock?
No.
It just doesn't happen.
It's never happened.
Yeah.
It's never happened. Too much. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
We're constantly like, telling people we're a couple weeks out, we're at least a couple weeks out.
Oh, I'm months out for sure, because I'm part-time right now. So I have months, and I swear I'm good for like 8 months right now. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. I feel bad too. I feel bad I can't get it listed faster. So, but
yeah.
Wow.
Well, as we've said it multiple times throughout, that this is our second episode. So typically moving forward, we're going to have this section of our episode be for listeners' questions. Mm-hmm. So we want to encourage you, obviously this being our second episode, we haven't put that out there yet. So next episode, we'll have some hopefully some listener questions to answer. So if you have any questions at all in the world of consignment, please feel free to message us those. You can email them to consignmentchats@gmail.com. You can get us on our Facebook page at Consignment Chats. DM us in, you guys jump in because I'm going to forget Instagram.
Or drop them below in the YouTube.
Drop them below in our YouTube, and we'll have them, and we'll make sure we get to as many as we can each week. But this is going to be a section each week in each episode that we get to your questions and ask them. So, and find us on social media.
We also have a Facebook group if you'd like to join that, because where we can interact with and with each other.
That's what I was going to ask. What's the difference, Tiffany, between the Facebook group and the Facebook page?
Well,
for our listeners, so they understand the difference.
Well, the Facebook page is our business page where we just put out information about our when our episodes come out and things like that. The group is where we can all interact as friends and family a little bit better, and we can get a little bit more personal, and just you can post questions in there that we can answer directly, or tell you we might just tell you we'll answer this in our next episode, stay tuned, something like that. But we'll definitely have a little bit more personal interaction in the group, but you should also like the page for more business aspects. I think I'm getting that right, Libby, right?
Absolutely. You did.
Yes, Libby, jump in. Yeah. And you can also find all this on our website, right, Libby?
Yes. Yes.
Links to everything
links to everything on consignmentchats.com. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we're out there. You can find us. You can. So we're going to end our second episode with a fun fact. And this week's fun fact is going to be a fun fact about our friend Tiffany. Tiffany, what fun fact can you share with us?
Well, my fun fact is that my husband and I were married in the Civil War. So,
wow, you look really good for your age.
When I met my current husband, my second husband, he was a Civil War reenactor, and he convinced me to have a Civil War wedding. And so I said, okay, because I don't. And so we actually did this at a Civil War reenactment, and we made the front page of the newspaper the next day.
Oh, look.
That's our picture.
I love it.
And the best thing was, because this was at a reenactment, so it was open to the public. So the venue was free. So we only had to pay for some food and that dress. I had to get that dress made. That was a lot.
Wow.
And it was also July 15th. It was hot. And my dress was 13 layers of stuff. Because you have the corset, then the undergarments and the corset and the hoops and it was heavy and thick and 13 layers. And my husband's suit was wool.
I was going to ask if it was wool. Oh, Lord.
And there's a vest on underneath there that you can't see. So, I mean, we were hot.
It doesn't look it in the photo. It doesn't look
You were hot, but you were also hot.
But I don't have that picture handy, but we had a blended family. He had 2 sons and I have a son, and we made them all dress up in little Civil War outfits too, and it was so cute.
Aww. Now, how old were they during that? What kind of age range?
Like, I think they were like 6, 9, and 12.
Aww.
Yeah. So it was really interesting. My mom even got involved, and she rented an outfit for the day, and my dad had a top hat, and he looked like Abraham Lincoln with his thing.
Oh, I love it.
It was fun.
Well, when we're able to personally get together someday soon, hopefully, you'll have to let us peek through your album.
Okay.
I bet those pictures are a lot of fun to look at.
Yeah. But it was weird because it was open to the public. So we had people sitting out in the chairs that we didn't even know. Like, and then a lot of people thought it was fake because they thought it was just part of the reenactment.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
The headline says reenactment for real. It was like,
love that.
So we ran around the next morning because someone messaged us and said we were on the front page or something. So we ran around the next morning and we stopped at a bunch of different places and picked up like all that they had in each store so I have like 25 of these.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have anything to even come close to topping that.
I know. Well, we're done with fun facts now for these episodes. One and done. We're out.
Oh, no.
Right.
I don't know that we should have started up here with that one.
Right.
I love it.
Okay.
Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us for episode 2 of Consignment Chats, and we look forward to episode 3. We'll be publishing what that main topic will be soon, but don't forget to find us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe. What else do they need to do, Tiffany? Subscribe and click your notifications.
Hit the bell for notifications. Yep.
Yep. So that you can stay on top of, what's going on and what's happening. And I'm sure coming soon, we're going to do fun things like giveaways and all that good stuff. So make sure you're connected with us and all the different social media aspects so that you don't miss.
We should also have notes below about our different stores and how to locate our stores if you want.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. If you'd like to, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the show notes on YouTube.
Check out the show notes on YouTube.
Yep.
Peace out.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for joining Libby, Molly, and Tiffany, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we talked about all things consignment. To learn more and keep chatting, find Consignment Chats on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and Instagram.